Hello, everyone. Angie Fenimore here. And this is Fat Chat with my writing coach. I know it's been a little while since I've posted. I did get COVID, and if you've been following me at all, you know that I'm insane about precautions. I definitely mask up, social distancing. So sad that I haven't seen my family in so long. We pretty much hibernate and, go to the grocery store very, very rarely. We kind of have this COVID, you know, I don't know, pandemic prepper stock. And we've been very careful, but we do have somebody in the house who has a day job and a grown kid who, isn't as cautious as I am. So he brought it home and gave it to my husband. And, I sleep in the same room with my husband, gave it to me. The kid that I spend so much time with, binge watching and, just talking about, state of the world. We sit in my little writing room, which is upstairs. We're in my office right now. And, we talk, and you're 15 minutes in that room and you've both breathed all the same air. He got it next after me. And then he spends a lot of time gaming with the other two in the house, my granddaughter and her boyfriend. So we all got it. We all tested positive. And then we passed it to one of my other children who lives around the corner with her brother and his wife, and she got it. And so we moved her over here. We all tested positive, like we know we had it. But anyway, knocked us out. I probably lost a month of time. Every time I thought I was getting better, it was like I was knocked back on my rear end, sleeping 15 hours a day. And, that's just like not me. I'm quite accustomed to getting a few hours and getting up and working or powering through, 48 hours without sleep, and then, going to sleep for 10 hours and hitting it again for another couple days. So anyway, took its toll. And we're better now, obviously. So there you go. Okay, so I want to talk to you about a couple of things. The first one is how to plan for a series while you're writing that book. How to make that work so that you're not going to have problems later down the road after you've published your first one, or how to pitch that project, but how to plan for a series. And I want to talk to you about Alaska. We are going to, and I'm going to do that first just because I can read all the information here on my computer and then I don't have to pay attention. I can just pay attention to you. So we're going to Alaska. We scouted this out last year. This is the top rated fishing lodge in Alaska. It's 5-star dining. It's extraordinary. And let me tell you, you could just see the years falling off my face the longer I was there. Here's the cool thing. Okay, this lodge is on Prince of Wales Island, and they have had 70 COVID cases. That is it, one death. And they only have one confirmed case right now. It's really, really spread out. People are so cautious. The state of Alaska itself is super cautious. You can't actually enter Alaska unless you got a COVID test 72 hours prior that came back negative. So they're like cautious all around. The lodge is cautious. Here at Calliope, we're cautious. We take it seriously as well. So the cool thing is that once we get there, we know that everybody is COVID negative. Everybody. And we're doing this in June. So, many of you will have been vaccinated by then. And so once we get there, we can be mask off if we want to. All right. I'm not going to tell you you can't wear a mask. You certainly can. But we can relax a little bit because it's really a safe environment. Also, Alaska is way up there, down in that Ketchikan area. They're like leading the nation in getting the vaccine out. So there you go. This is extraordinary. It's 7 days and 7 nights of creative bliss. You get me every morning providing coaching, and then you're off to write. Then we come together again just before dinner, and you get to work individually with Calliope coaches who've been well trained by me with your specific problems. And then it's 5-star dining for dinner. Let me tell you, I mean, it's a chef on site, and like one of the chefs was trained at the Cordon Bleu, and it's amazing, amazing. And they just really take care of you. In the morning, it's cooked to order breakfast, no menu. You just tell them what you want. I'd like a Monte Cristo, thank you. Or I have celiac disease. It's like no gluten, and they manage that. They manage that for you. And then the night before, you're gonna fill out a little sheet. Here's what I want on my sandwich. Here's what kind of chips I want. Do I want a cookie or granola bar? Or it's both, actually. What kind of fruit do I want? What do I want to drink? And they pack this sack lunch for you in the morning after breakfast. You grab your sack lunch and off you go. It's just extraordinary. And so whatever your intention is, whether you're drafting an entire novel, which you can totally do in a week's time, with that kind of an environment and with that kind of support and coaching, you can. Or if you're bringing a project for revision, which is what I will likely be doing, I'm working really hard to finish the novel that I'm working on, get my draft completely done and take it through a couple of revision passes so that I'm fine tuning. And I don't know, I might be past that point. Maybe I'll be drafting the next book in the series. We'll see. Anyway, so I'm just going to turn my camera a little bit so that you can see this. I know it's my computer screen and you really can't see it very well, but you can have this floating in the background while we talk about it. So this is the lodge right here. We took our drone and got some amazing footage. This is all footage that we got when we were there last year. That's me right there on the boat. So some add-ons, you can go deep sea fishing, you can go fly fishing on the river, you can take a float plane to the glacier. Oh, I didn't even talk about the float plane. So you fly into Ketchikan is what you do, and then a chartered float plane brings you to the lodge. That is the only way to get there. And so you land there at the boardwalk, and the staff comes out, and they get your luggage and they take it to your room for you, and they take a picture of you so that they can match your face to your name all through your stay. And it's really, I mean, you are so well taken care of. They quickly learned that I'm a tea drinker, and let me tell you, they always had tea available every morning. When I went down to breakfast, they just brought me my tea. It was just phenomenal. Okay, so 7 days, 7 nights, June 5th through the 12th, okay? And you fly to Ketchikan, that's where you fly in, and then the float plane brings you to the lodge. What's included? Luxury accommodations, all meals prepared by chef. Hold on, I'm gonna refresh because that is, Michael wrote that, I rewrote it. Okay, here we go. All-inclusive accommodations at Boardwalk, Alaska's #1 rated lodge. 5-star dining in the evening, cooked to order breakfast, plentiful sack lunch, 24-hour beer, wine, soda, water, tea. Actually, it's just available to you 24 hours, okay? And that's included. Float plane from Ketchikan Airport to Boardwalk Lodge and return is included. Day excursions around Prince of Wales Island to fuel your creativity. Sometimes there are whales right there in the bay, so I don't think it's bear watching season. I went and saw bears. That was just incredible in their natural environment, in it from a safe distance, but like right there. And then there's the glacier that you can fly to on the float plane. There's the totem village, which is totally amazing, totally cool. Anyway, okay, the coaching. World-class coaching on your project. Learn with me, by the way, and coaches that I've trained, so it's both. Learn how to write a page turner with New York Times bestselling author Angie Fenimore. Instruction on effective marketing and branding. Okay, so you're going to get some of our experts like Michael and maybe Randy on empowerment and how to stay empowered when you go home and you're no longer in this environment, right? So empowerment coaching to keep your creativity sizzling. Okay, so the cost, it's $4,500 per person, and that's based on double occupancy. So you could, do a whole room if you wanted to. That would be totally fine. There's a little bit of discount if you want to do that. But it's airfare to Ketchikan is not included. Deep sea and freshwater fishing excursions are available, but they're not included. Okay. And then I go into all the COVID precautions, which I've already talked to you about. They take your temperature every day. If you have any COVID symptoms, you're getting quarantined. I'm sorry, that's the way that's going. But you can still write. Okay. And we'll take care of you. All right. So here's the general itinerary. We arrive at Ketchikan International Airport on June 5th. There are only 2 flights in that day. You'll be on one or the other. The float plane picks you up and takes you to the lodge. It's just right there. It's a little short walk right down. You can check in, get settled, dinner and free time. And we have some fun things planned also for that night. So then we've already talked about every morning. We all get together and we have a group coaching session. Then you're off to write. Coaches are available then. Throughout the day, if you've got a question, you can, ping one of us and, we can take care of you. But the private coaching time will be just before dinner, an hour or so before dinner, okay? Where you can just gather with us up at the outdoor seating area or inside if it's, if we have rain or whatever. And we'll sit down and you get to have one-on-one time, okay, with a coach. All right. And then and we do have people coming who are responsible for day excursions. Okay. So you'll have Chad, who is amazing. We ran a retreat a couple of years ago in Scotland at a castle. We rented a castle, and I'm telling you, and Chad, Chad did a lot of the cooking, but he's just really the greatest guy on the planet and really going to take care of you. Okay, and then the float plane takes you back out. There are only 2 flights that day. Both are between 1 and 2 p.m. So the float plane takes you back out in the late morning, back to Ketchikan Airport where you fly home. All right, there you go. Okay, so if you're interested in Alaska, go to elitewritingretreats.com. elitewritingretreats.com. And you'll get the same page that I'm showing you here. Okay, there you go. That's Alaska. Now let's talk about series, how to plan for a series. Okay, so something that we do, and you're going to want to do Craft That Draft, which is a free 30-day challenge. And I really go into a lot of detail about how to structure that story so that it's really sound, viable, marketable, and how to storyboard, because that's what you always want to start with, is a storyboard, so that you always have kind of a blueprint to check back to. Am I still on, my story went this wonky, I did not expect that way, and then you rewrite your storyboard and see if it still fits the structure that I teach you inside of Craft That Draft. It's craftthatdraft.com, by the way, to register for that free, okay? And it's amazing. So if you're planning for a series, okay, different people operate differently. There are pantsers and plotters, right? A plotter likes to have everything plotted out. Lots of famous plotters. John Grisham is one. He just outright says, if you don't plot, you can't write that novel. I need to know how this is going in order to work on this project. Margaret Atwood is a famous pantser, and she says, I don't plot at all. I let the story take me where it wants to go. So we kind of actually have this marriage of the two, so that you get to take advantage of both worlds. And so if you have that blueprint and your story is gone somewhere you didn't expect it, you can write another storyboard and make sure you have those elements so that you know that your story still works even though you've tweaked it and changed it. Okay. So if you happen to be a plotter, my daughter's a plotter, and she and I write together 3 or 4 days a week. And what she's working on is an adult fantasy novel. And but she really needs to see the whole picture and see where this is going. And so what she's been working on is creating storyboards and then stretching those storyboards out so that she's got outlines for the next 2 books, even though she probably has, I don't know, maybe a quarter to half of her content for the first one. But she's now at a point with that first one where she needs to know where it's going to go so that she can plant seeds in the first book, and she knows who's going to die. She knows what's going to happen. So she actually has the ideas for books 2 and book 3. So there are a couple of things that I want to touch upon with this. When you're planning for a series, or you finish that first book and you're pitching it to gatekeepers, literary agents, publishers, that kind of thing, or film producers, TV producers, the thing is you're never going to sell books 2 and 3 if you don't sell book 1. So your primary focus has got to be on book 1. So you don't want to withhold any great storytelling or like, oh, no, I want to reserve that. No, make book 1 the very best that you can do. And then when you go to pitch it, you're going to pitch it like this. You're going to say something to the effect of, this is a standalone novel with series potential. That's how you pitch it. And then when they're talking to you at the end, then you can say, yeah, I've already mapped out 2 and 3, or this is where I am. You can add that information because they're interested in authors, writers who aren't going to be one-hit wonders. They want to partner with writers who are going to continue to write. They're very interested in that. There are some very isolated cases where it's not that important, like if you're writing a memoir and this is the only book you're ever going to write. But for the most part, they want to know that you're, I don't know, without sounding horrible, but that you're kind of a cash cow for them, okay? And if you make money, they make money. That's what they're looking at, okay? That's what they really, really, really love, which isn't to say you're not going to get a book deal just because you know that you're writing a book, one book. That's what you're writing. So there you go. So it's a good idea to kind of look forward if you need to, if you're that kind of writer. Like, don't feel bad about doing that. It will serve book 1 if that's what you need. Now, I, on the other hand, I'm a pantser and I just write. And I keep my storyboard handy. I think I have 9 storyboards now for the story that I'm working on, the novel that I'm working on. And I have an idea of where book 2 is going, just because I have 40,000 words that aren't going to go in this book. And it's like, well, that would work for the next book, okay? But I'm not concerned with that. I just have a file where all that goes as soon as I know it doesn't go in book 1. Okay, so there you go. Ideas for how to plan a series, okay? Regardless of how your brain works, because our brains don't all work the same. So storyboard that thing. Sign up for craftthatdraft.com. That I teach you some fundamentals about storytelling and how to have it be marketable and how to make that story pull those emotional strings in the way that you need to, okay? So that you effectively really move your audience to want to turn the page, leave them with catharsis at the end, all the things that need to be there if you're going to sell it. All right, there you go. Over and out. Again, it's craftthatdraft.com, okay, for the free 30-day challenge, and it's elitewritingretreats.com. if you want to go to Alaska with us. This is the first time that I've even mentioned it outside of Calliope students, and we're already filling up really quickly. So jump in. There's a contact request form. You can also just shoot me a message too right here on this, and give me a shout out, and I'll answer your questions. Okay, ciao for now.